IT Hero Podcast Show. Welcome everybody on IT Hero Podcast Show again. Now we are on episode 8, and this is going to be one of my favorite and a special episode. The reason being, I am inspired to do this podcast because of this person. He is a amazing YouTuber, and he has great contents about DevOps, and that's for free. And he's a senior DevOps engineer, cloud solution architect, and an AWS container hero and a YouTuber. I am so happy and honored to welcome Sandip Das on IT Hero podcast. Hey, Sandip.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for inviting me for this amazing show. And it's awesome what you're doing.
Great. Thank you, Sandeep. You have an amazing YouTube channel for DevOps and cloud learners, right? And I am really inspired by the content that you deliver and the amount of time that you spend every Saturday with the students. So let me know who is your inspiration to start this channel.
So it was one person named Akshay Shiny. I saw his teaching style on YouTube and how simply he was teaching. So what happened when I was following through different video tutorials and all, I find it very complicated for first time learners. So my target was to make it so easy that first time learners can at least get the basics so that they can get started and do the advanced stuffs. The basic is needed, right? So my target always been an easy one or the basic level first, and then slowly with more advanced tutorial people get used to it and they get the confidence. So getting the confidence is the main part which people lose. People actually think this is too hard to do or too problematic to be done, but once you get started it become easy. But that starting point everyone not able to find out. Okay, and that is the reason I make the starting point easy for them. That was my actually inspiration of starting the channel. Now I had never no intention of like become, I never know that it will become big or all, but what happens that people started liking the channel, started liking the content. This and I want this and that. I start on demand. I started making the contents, and it became big hit.
Wow, great. So when there is a demand, it automatically becomes a hit, Sandeep. And as I told you, the basics is what we are looking for. And yeah, that's an amazing answer for your inspiration. And we want to thank the person who actually, make you inspired because you would have missed a great teacher like you. So
Thank
great.
you.
And
Definitely.
also, I see Sandeep, you're very consistent. Like you see, both in LinkedIn or in YouTube, you're very consistent, right? I am curious to know what drives you towards that consistency every day.
It's most of the like kind of I found something interesting, and it's a urge from inside that let's hear about it, let's do something about it, because that curiosity which drives me. Because when I see something good and that can be useful for many others including me, I can apply in my project, so then same can apply for other projects also. That is the reason I make article about it, I make videos on it, so that people get aware of it and they can utilize the new technology, new systems or new services or tools, so that they can improve their productivity, they can improve their project quality. So it will be like betterment for everyone. That was my inspiration on that also.
Oh, nice.
Like,
So it's a win-win situation. Yeah,
exactly.
great. And also the Saturday live sessions, I watch every Saturday, and the live sessions are really helpful. So I want to give a big thank you for that. And so, do you read all the feedbacks and comments that comes through the
Exactly. So
channel?
you will not able to grow, or you're not able to see. There's what people asking for. You have to deliver the same, not what we are thinking or what we are giving. If that is not acceptable, there is a big gap, right?
Yeah,
There should be no gap between the you and your watchers or your viewers or your followers, because it's you are doing for them, not for you, isn't it?
yeah,
That's the entire point. So the point is that you have to listen to their what they're saying, listen to their majority is asking for. You cannot, 100 people may ask for 100 things, but you cannot do 100 things in limited time.
yeah,
What you can do is you can keep a list of what people demanding, read their comments. If they're very urgent, reply to them immediately. If you have some work and it's not urgent, okay, I what I do is I copy copy the comment in my I have some listing module I have developed by myself. I
uh-huh,
post just like copy that command there. I like who comment and where to the comment, I copy the URL. So when I get free in say every day evening time around 6:30 to 7, I got some time, 30 minutes. That time I utilize to reply everyone. So yeah, I read every each and every comment. if it's required reply, I definitely reply. If not today, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, but I will reply. That's
Wow,
my
Sandip.
motivation.
I think you automated the comment section also. That's great.
True, true. So I have I have automated a lot of things like the email
Okay.
sending, because
Uh-huh.
see, we as a developer, we develop for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And if we can develop for everyone, we can develop for ourselves also. So that's why I have integrated everything myself, because if you go for any solution now, you have to pay a lot of money,
Yeah.
okay, now these days, okay. But we already have, if you have the knowledge of AWS, if you
Yeah.
have some knowledge of basic programming, say JavaScript, PHP, Go, whatever, any backend programming language, and you
Mm.
can automate everything that you want, okay. And I
Mm.
know most of the things, so I thought of why paying 20,000 or 30,000 rupees to these people when
Yeah.
I can develop by myself. I took only 2 to 3 days, very focused time developing these modules, and all done. That's how I do it.
Awesome. Great. Do it yourself. Good job.
This is a practice. Now, people, if suppose if people have
Mm.
complaints that I go to interview and they ask for the kind of show you what you have done, some
Mm.
experience, and if you do this kind of things to yourself, your domain,
Yeah.
your projects, that will be easy to show to the world also. Now, suppose someone
Mm.
asking for Sandeep, I want to develop an email module. Did you even work on that? See, I have
Yeah.
made entire email solution myself, entire CMS solution myself. Why I can do it? If I show them the proof, it's kind of 99% guarantee that the person will come and give me the project. That
Yeah.
people miss that. That's a
Good.
very
That's
crucial
a
thing.
great tip. That's a great tip, Sandeep. I think, yeah, while we learn, when we do something, it's a good place for us to showcase our skill set.
Right.
Yeah. Great. Now, regarding your times of in India's interview, you shared your thoughts on how cloud architect role is really demand right now. Would you like to share more on that point?
Definitely. So like we was talking about like what was the cloud architects do in their day-to-day job, how is the demand. So there is what happening is that currently everyone having lockdown, people can't go to office, right?
Yeah.
And that creating a huge demand for people to come into the cloud because they cannot go visit the on-premise system, and
Yeah.
it need maintenance and server going down. So what everyone doing, all the companies are now like, everyone want their on-premise system on the cloud now, be it AWS, be it GCP or Azure, whatever, whoever giving them the best like feature shoot, they will go for there. Now the problem is that we don't have that much cloud engineers
Hmm.
or that much DevOps engineers in the world. Everyone busy, everyone
Hmm.
have one project or two project, and whoever getting is that newly starting.
Hmm.
So that is why the demand is more than the supply in the market. And what are the skills they're requiring? They require someone to have very good knowledge, at least the administrative knowledge of how to maintain the cost, because cost is very important. That
Yeah.
skill. What are the service that can work in particular programming language? That skill. Then can you create the infra manually as well as infra as a code?
Hmm.
Sometimes if the client is want to get kind of familiar with the system, they want the persons to show them around. Okay, they
Okay.
can't. All the clients don't know about the coding and all, right?
Hmm.
Because they are more in the business part. Now they want to show in a visualized way,
Yeah.
but when the implementation to be done,
Hmm.
suppose you have to spin 100 servers or 200 servers, 300 servers, as per demand you have to spin.
Yeah.
You cannot do it manually, you have to do automatically, but to show a client you have to do it. So you need both the manual knowledge, how the things to be done, as well as the automation knowledge, how it can be done in a greater scale. That skill is
Okay.
required as a cloud engineer. And suppose you want to go for the DevOps engineer,
Yeah.
then you need to know at least how the automatic code deployment to be done. Suppose you make any changes in your code base,
Hmm.
how easily can you push all the codes as soon as getting pushed to be tested. If it's a pull request, then merge the pull request if all is good. If you have set the rules accordingly, then it should go to staging server. The QA should be notified. Then once they approve, it should go to the pre-production. If
Hmm.
pre-production approved, then it should go to the production. So it has to be a manual plus automated. Or if you're very confident in your system and all, you can do it like continuous deployment. No need
Yeah.
of approval. Just the testing it to be enough. So that's these are the skills that the market want. Like another sort of skills I can say, if you want to become a cloud engineer,
Yeah.
you need to know of the basic cloud. Okay, how the
Hmm.
cloud works, what are the servers, what is the computer, what is the storage, what is the networking. If you don't have this knowledge, how can you cover the advanced stuff in other cloud vendors and all?
Hmm.
So once you know the basics, you can go for the AWS or GCP or Azure. Now the market leaders are AWS, so you can go for AWS. Then if you think you're getting better opportunity in other clouds, then you can simply map your, like, make a mental model of a one cloud, what is the common thing, and
Hmm.
then apply the same in other clouds and make a mapping between the services. That will help you to grow in any cloud. Okay. And so
Got it.
one cloud knowledge is absolutely necessary. And
Hmm.
then you need the like cost skills, because you cannot make $1,000 server
Yeah.
and like servers and you have budget of 100. So you have to make sure what you do is 100. So what happened, one client came
Okay.
and they say, Sandeep, we are a very small company, we wanted to spin a server within $200, but the engineers asked that it should be a $3,000 cost and all, and they
Uh-huh.
like where they can collect the money, and it's an Indian client. Okay,
Okay.
now they come to me and say, Sandeep, how we can set the cost? I just asked them, did you
Mhm.
thought about the serverless? Why didn't go serverless? You don't require it to be continuously running. Why you're running it's continuously? Okay,
Mm.
there's so this kind of knowledge where one need to be applied. That is also a basic skill of a cloud engineer or the DevOps engineers. So that is what required. The
Got
reality
it.
skills of good experience.
Awesome. Thanks, Sandip. I think you partially answered my next couple of questions. I was about to ask you
No,
the
no,
DevOps
we'll go in deep
skill
there.
set. So if you double click on the skill set part alone, Sandip, that would be great. What are the skill set required for a DevOps engineer? Is coding,
So for a
uh,
yeah,
sorry
go
to
on.
cut you. Is coding really required for a DevOps engineer?
So for a DevOps engineer, coding is not like a mandatory thing, but there is a but. Every
Okay.
company have their own policies, own requirements, own kind of. They already have existing deployment also, right? Or maybe some deployment that needs some scripting, where it is absolutely needed. You have to do it, but some other places like Kubernetes, you can know some commands, and if you know some bit of the command line tools and all, you'd
Yeah.
be able to manage your infra using YML and all, right?
Mm.
So that is where you don't require the all the coding knowledge. You need to know what are the command need to be executed. Okay.
Mm.
But suppose it's a complex application where you need some deployment, you have to run some scripting. So there you need some scripting knowledge, and you cannot avoid that because it's necessary to do some deployment or process something.
Mm.
So again, everything depends on the job profile that you're selecting. Is that job profile particularly asking for the coding knowledge or maybe some scripting knowledge? Then you have
Mm.
to know.
Okay.
Not every company want it, but most of the people want at least one programming language, at
Mm.
least one. Your programming could be Python, say Go, and sales scripting is must because people don't know, but when
Mm.
they come to the DevOps, they know what is the demand, because
Okay.
everything you have to run, all the deployment script, all the automation script, all the containerization scripts, you have to write in a sales script code. So
Okay.
you must know the sales script, and that's a de facto. Now, other coding is okay. If there is requirement, do it. Otherwise, not. But the sales scripting should be mandatory.
Understood. So shell scripting is mandatory, but Python and Go can be a added
Yeah,
advantage.
you may have project that is they're not using Python, and you may not
Yeah.
require Python. So actually, any backend kind of job you can do it via the sales scripting.
Hmm.
But sometimes what happens if it's a complex scenario, if
Hmm.
you use programming language, it will become easy. But if it's
Okay.
sales scripting, if you don't have good sales script knowledge, you will be not able to do it. You will be definitely able to do it if you have good knowledge. That's the scenario here.
Got it. Got it. Thanks. Thanks, Sandip. Now,
Yeah.
if I want to be a DevOps engineer, let's say I am already a cloud engineer, I want to
Hmm.
become a DevOps engineer. That's my aspiration. Where do I
Hmm.
start now?
So see, there is I always say this line to everyone: there is no cloud without DevOps, and there is no DevOps without cloud. So if you are thinking about cloud, there must be some DevOps integration, and if you're thinking about the DevOps, it must be hosted in a cloud. So
Yeah.
if you have some good knowledge in cloud, you are already halfway through. You have to
Mm.
just learn about the CI/CD process. You have to learn about some open source tools like Jenkins, Ansible, Terraform. So you can like more of the automation. You are coming less on the manual and
Mm.
more coming to the automation. Your target should be more deployment in less time. That's all about the DevOps and the communication between teams. So suppose I'm a programmer, I don't know about DevOps. Okay, I'm a
Mm.
programmer. As a programmer, what I want that the deployment should be happening very fast. The feature, as soon as I release, it should be available for QA test. I don't
Mm.
want to wait for 1 day, 2 day, or 1 week for that, right?
Yeah.
Now what operation manager want, that see, if it's running stably, why are you releasing new, even if it's a business requirement? But if you what happens if you release new feature in old kind of style,
Yeah.
that if you push any code, things going to break. I think that was the one of the biggest nightmare of any operation manager or any system manager while maintaining the system. Something new code get pushed and their Saturday over, their Sunday over.
Yeah.
They have to fix the bugs and help the programmers. So that is the reason when operation engineer wants that is it has to be stable. Okay.
Mm.
So see, there's a two side. What developer want, fast release. Where operation engineer want stable release.
Mm.
So that is why the DevOps came. Now,
Yeah.
DevOps make sure you're making code change that should be get automatic tested where the operation engineers, okay, it is a tested code. Now
Mm.
it should be getting to the staging or report. They are QA testing.
Mm.
So operation engineers also very secure, okay, QA
Yeah.
tested it.
Yeah.
And then it's automatically dealing. So their headache is less. And there is a communication. You can see DevOps, like devs to the operations, and
Mhm.
then QA, entire flow, all the communication working perfectly fine. That's a DevOps philosophy. You have to make sure the deployment happen faster, features
Mhm.
getting released faster, and there is low maintenance or low manual work there, and it's all automatic. And then
Mm.
anything happening, all whatever request going there, any system fault, all logs should be automatically get collected for the, if any problem happen, we should be able to analyze that as fast as possible. So these
Mm.
kind of best practices are a set of DevOps requirement. So if you
Okay.
are a cloud engineer, develop these skills, and anything like as I told, right? The Jenkins is there as open source
Mm.
tools. Jenkins is there, Ansible for the configuration management.
Yeah.
You have Terraform for the, if you want to like from zero to deploy entire infra, you can use Terraform. If
Mm.
you want to, if you're an AWS engineer and want to move to the AWS DevOps tools, there is code commit, code build, code
Mm.
deploy, code pipeline. All tools are there. Every cloud giving you all solution, and you
Mm.
have all the open source also. So
Yeah.
you have to see what skills are actually in demand. You have to go to the you see, there are many job listing places, right?
Mm.
Just go there and see what demands in the skill, and what their experience level, and what is kind of projects they're asking. That is where
Mm.
I collect the data. That is where I find, okay, this is in demand, and this topic I should cover in my next video, so that people get knowledgeable in some actual real life skills they can apply in their job. That is what you have to do. You have to do your own research to find
Yeah.
out what skills are demand. Of course, we are there, we are saying all that, but you should be having some your own research also, so that you can
Yeah.
tell your guy, I know this and these are the demands, I should
Mm.
learn this has to be developed.
Got it. That's a very good tip, Sandip. I think we should go ahead and everyone should follow this. We
Exactly.
simply look for opportunities, but there is demand already there, which we don't know. So we
Exactly.
have to go out and check. Yeah. And I also like the quote that you gave for DevOps: more deployment in less time. That's a nice, easy way of putting what
Exactly.
is DevOps in a simple way, as you always do. And now, thanks for sharing the skill set and the knowledge required for DevOps. Now, what are the career opportunities? How do I get the job? For example, uh, if my experience is completely into a different non-cloud background, I have learned DevOps now. Will my previous experience be considered for my next job?
Yeah, so now here's multiple scanners here. First, if you're a complete non-tech and you coming to the DevOps, then you're suppose you have 3 year 4 year experience in the non-tech, can it be applied? No, it cannot be. It's
Okay.
completely non-tech. You cannot
Mm.
apply the same in the tech background.
Yeah.
What you have to do, you can start with some administrative plus DevOps position, like DevOps manager, or like smaller roles where you are
Mm.
not in the head or top level.
Okay.
Small but some steady. That should be your target, and all companies have these kind of positions. You have
Okay.
to target that. Once you in the field, you work with multiple projects, slowly move towards more technical grounds, and
Oh.
you target for the top position. That should be the way. If you're already in the tech, suppose you're in the networking or in the cloud engineer, just we're talking about,
Mm.
then you have edge over others. You
Mm.
know what cloud is, what DevOps could be, and you just have to learn new skill set. If you already know better, you can show to the recruiter, see, I have this cloud deployment knowledge, or cloud architect knowledge, where I applied, we have managed. So you have the cost knowledge, you have different service knowledge. Simply combine with the DevOps knowledge, and
Mm.
yes, there you don't need to start from zero. You can start with your experience level, and you can get that much or more salary than where you are getting previously. That is okay. So that is where, if you're non-tech, you will have less edge than others, but over time you will go there. But if you're in the tech background, in any, say, programming, cloud, networking, system admin, you have edge over others. You can simply move to DevOps, and you will have your exact salary or more than what you have getting before. So that is the scenario here.
Nice. Thanks. That's a great tip. Now, moving on, little technical, Sandeep. I have a couple of questions related to technical skill
Sure.
set. What is microservices and why there is so much buzz around microservices?
So to understand microservice, we first understand what was monolithic application.
Okay.
So what is monolithic application? Previously, where we don't had this DevOps, this and that, we had one simple application, database also hosted in a single place. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a your local computer, you're running your application in local computer, you're running your database in the local computer,
Mm,
you're running your backup in the local computer, and if
mm.
something happened to your computer, everything lost, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
And if you make one changes, then if suppose other person they are changing in your computer, your changes gets messed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is a problem. That is a problem in the cloud servers. You have single cloud server, you're deploying everything to the
Mm,
single cluster, and that's why when everything get messed up.
mm,
People actually waiting for their changes to be approved, then other people can make the changes. And that was a bad scenario. And that
mm.
is why we had this microservice. So what microservice suggesting, all the services. So one particular reason, say you have an e-commerce website,
Okay.
one for you have one service for card management or user session management,
Okay.
you have one module for the credit card or like payment management, you
Mm,
have one separate module or separate service for the system management or system log collection. So
mm,
every service now are separated by different separate codes. So each service should run different codes, so that one particular developer or developers making changes going to the particular service. Okay, suppose I am working in the card service, I have made some UI improvement or some code changes. If I deploy the changes, it should go to the card. It's not going to the user session, it's not going to the log collection, nowhere. It's just that one particular microservice getting affected. Micro means small,
yeah.
small service, small that you have card, like here is a card is a small service. My changes are going to that particular service. And what is happening that since the change is getting effective to a particular small service, we have no risk of losing everything, isn't it?
Mm,
And support my service going down, only the card service going down. You just should be able to do the login.
mm,
The log module should be get collected this failure log, and then you can fix it, isn't it?
mm.
So that's why microservice is just dividing multiple, like one single application into multiple services, and then all services should work together. We call it orchestration. So all
Okay.
services should be able to communicate with each other, and we should have a centralized or distributed way
Okay.
to access all the all these services. That is what the requirement is. And see, there's a less risk, more productivity because more developer working on separate services, and the deployment happening faster, isn't it? And the
Yeah.
risk of failure is low. If something happened, you can easily revert that particular service. We don't have to do entire system rollback.
Mm,
These are
yeah.
the things that we have some features coming with the microservice knowledge.
Great. Great. So I am learning microservices for the first time. Like so simple, beautiful example. Now, tell me, Sandip, how is the adoption rate in microservices? Do we see a lot of companies
You
moving
see,
towards it?
Amazon, yeah, best example, Apple, you see the Adobe, because Adobe, they're running the Kubernetes. You see the Amazon, they're running container services. You
Mm,
see Google, they're running on GK, that is
yeah.
Google Kubernetes engine.
Mm,
So every like, so if you don't know Kubernetes, like if someone watching and then don't know Kubernetes, Kubernetes is a orchestration service for the containerized
mm,
application, say
mm,
Docker application. And if you run Docker application, each Docker container running services that I talk you
yeah.
right, that the card service, so one card
Mm,
service running a particular container, or
mm,
maybe one copy of the card service running in 10 containers.
mm,
So you have to manage all these containers, where we need Kubernetes, which managing the pods in the sense of the like pods are say the containers. So Kubernetes manage the containers. If one containers go down, some problem happen, it should have a way to revert back
mm,
or deploy new pod so that it can compensate the failure. So that's where every company, they have to make sure the customer that accessing the services, if the service goes down, it's a bad reputation, bad will.
yeah. Yeah.
Nobody want that.
Yeah.
So each big companies, I'm saying about big heads,
Yeah.
Google, Amazon, Adobe, like Tinder kind of applications,
Mhm.
every companies, they are going for the microservices. So
Okay.
it's in huge demand. People, it's not a myth anymore, it's not a concept anymore.
Mm,
People using for last many years, say five
mm,
6 years, people are using it actively, and it developed in a new level. We
okay.
had Docker at first, we have some very basic coordination. Now the
Mm,
Docker came, then Kubernetes came, now even better container services are coming up. So that's
yeah.
why microservices are everywhere. You
Mm,
might not, as a normal user or customer, don't know it, but as a technical engineer, you should know everywhere you see there must be one microservice application running that is
mm.
servicing your need.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much, Sandeep. Now, moving on to the next question about serverless framework. Can you
Mm.
give a brief about what is serverless and how does it work?
Yeah, so it's called serverless. It's not like no server, it's not no server, but the phrase is serverless. That means you have server, but it's you're utilizing less. So
Mm,
what's the concept? Suppose think about one application you need 24 into 7 to run. I mean, you that application need to run 24 into 7. Some socket
Okay.
application, for example, or IoT device communication, where it needs to be always active. That case, your application is always need to be running, and that's not suitable for serverless because
Mm.
you have to run the server all the time, right?
Yeah.
There is no need. But
Yeah.
think of the application. Sometimes, say per hourly accessing, or
Mm.
say per 30 minutes, or maybe for 1 hour, it will be 100 or 2000 requests. And then after 10, 20 minutes or 1 hour, there will be no request. This
Okay.
kind of intermittent usage.
Okay.
Then it doesn't make sense to run the application 24/7, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
Right. There's no need to run because you don't have that demand.
Mm.
You should run a serverless where when the request comes, then you invoke the servers, and servers should get start automatically, serve the request of that particular client. Once
Mhm.
it's done, stop the servers. That
Okay.
means you're utilizing servers but less. Once you're done with it, shut down the server. That's
Okay.
what serverless is, using less servers and
Got it.
saving the cost, which ultimately benefit the company because
Mm.
they're paying less now. They can
Yeah.
use the money for other things
Yeah.
like giving to the employees or
Yeah.
doing some improvement in the
But
office, whatever they
how's the
want.
performance now, Sandeep? I am curious to know, like, if it's only working when the service is like it's
So
already
yeah, there
down.
is actually, that was the at the beginning when this kind of service started, it
Okay.
was laggy. So you have
Okay.
some latencies. You request it, you have to wait 1 or 2 seconds,
Yeah.
and see, previously in the old world, not a matter 1 or 2 seconds. Now in the X generation, or you can use next generations,
Yeah.
they are impatient. You cannot
Yeah.
make them wait for even 2 seconds sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they have less patience. So
True.
that was not acceptable. So
Mm.
that now all the cloud providers, what they do is they they have some warm instances. What it
Mm.
means, it's a shared environment, and it's warm. It's already ready to be done. Anything
Okay.
okay is ready kind of thing. So where other application running and they're shutting down and all, but it's still warm. And when your request coming, simply it assigning that to your application, or your
Oh.
application moving to that particular server. Okay, and that is already warmed up, is
Mhm.
easy to just serve the request, and as soon as your application done serving, it
Mm.
removing your application from the particular server.
Okay.
See, that's the economy of the cloud. The
Mm-hmm.
more people using it, the less the cost.
Yeah.
And if you see that now, you don't have to wait for 1 or 2 seconds or more than that, isn't it?
Mm.
Because it's warm up server, it already utilized, and you serve the client, your application is done, your quota is done, so you're not using the server anymore. That's what everyone doing.
Got it. Got it. Beautiful. I learned a lot about microservices and serverless framework. Thank you, Sandeep.
So yeah, serverless framework, you see, that's serverless knowledge. Now, what is serverless framework? So see, there are multiple programming languages, isn't it?
Hmm.
See, like JavaScript, Node.js, and Python,
Yeah.
Go, Java, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now there need to be some commonality. Otherwise, if you don't have any standard or some particular framework to maintain this application,
Yeah.
things get messed up because everyone have their own knowledge and own skill set.
Yeah.
And if all these people start combining their skill, you have some kijiri kind of style. You don't want that. So that's why this kind of excellent framework knowledge come. So
Okay.
okay, if you are JavaScript programmer, you want to develop in Node.js this entire
Mm.
serverless application, like say Lambda application or Google function or Azure functions, then you should follow this rule set. You mention what is the provider, you mention what are the environment in a very beautiful way, you mention what are the modules required for the application to run, you
Mm.
mention what are the permission level required for application to be done. So this all you mention in a particular very good looking YML file
Yeah.
or similar kind of configuration file,
Hmm.
and then you write the code and utilize all your configuration. So that's what the beauty of the serverless framework. It's tell you follow a particular framework, then
Hmm.
you apply your business knowledge. That way you have more confidence, all developers working in a uniform way for the greater good.
Got it. Superb. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandeep. Now, switching gears, I am going to ask a couple of questions, kind of a basic ones. Now, can you share us some tips on how to stay focused? Actually, I saw one of your recent video about how to stay focused, but I would like you to share here in this medium so that the users can get use of it.
So first thing is that if you able to focus is good, But if you can't, then find the root cause. It could be
mm,
your own from inside. You are not happy with what you're working on. You're
mm,
getting bored. You have some personal issues, family issues. So whatever it is, find out the root cause.
correct.
Then try to fix the root cause, because in any programming language or any bug you find out, we find the root cause, isn't it?
Hmm.
Anything, then we fix it. If you don't know what you're struggling against, you cannot fix it, because you're like finding out something in a black pitch black way. So that is not the way. You have to first find out what is your problem point.
Yeah,
Try to find out, try to fix it, try
yeah,
to may delay it for, say, since any problem in your life or anything, that's not stay for longer time. So
yeah,
1 week, 1 month, fine, take rest, take some time for yourself, then start focusing. But if it's some related to boringness, then what you should do, try out something new. Like I have, when I get bored, I have two, three Raspberry Pis, and I
oh,
run different kind of experiment, like plant giving some water to plants automatically, or I run the NGOs log collection, or kind of data collection or monitoring services, just for
yeah,
testing out. So this kind of experiment you do, and it will like uh, eliminate
boredom.
your boringness. Or other thing you can do, suppose you're learning and you're getting bored. So if you learn a lot of things, and if you don't do anything with that, by default
Mm,
your mind think that it's no use, I'm learning, I'm not doing anything with that, isn't it?
yeah,
That what people face. So what they should do, try to make a note and try to share the world. I say to everyone, if you're learning something, you're learning a skill, show to the world, because you have to show the skill to the world, or not just to teach them, but it's for you to people find out about you. If you have some good
mm,
skill, you're doing something, you're writing good articles, around the world people watching you. Even if you don't know it, people watching you.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so even I was watching few articles of very good engineers, and they don't even know that I recommended, like they're looking for jobs. I from the background, some recruiter asked me few days back, they're looking for some engineers. I don't want to be make a big fuss about that, so I just secretly shared this information to that particular
Okay.
recruiter, and ultimately he hired in that company only. But I
Oh,
asked the recruiter, don't tell my name, just hire him if you
okay.
think it's good. So
Nice.
he shared an article. Even he don't know that I didn't even give a like, because otherwise we will know I'm
Yeah,
noticing too much. So I give a like later anyway. So that is how, I mean, he don't know that people are watching, but people are watching. If I'm watching, that means other people are watching. If I like it, that means people are there who are liking your content, and you are getting selected. So if you never shared your knowledge, you never shared the article, how would I find it?
yeah,
Things
yeah.
that way. So if you are good at skill, you're learning something, try to show the skill to the world. If you don't have project, if you start sharing your skill set to the world, like in a form of article, in a form of demo tutorial, people will learn about that, and people will reach out to you if they have the requirement. Okay, so that
Yeah.
is there. You should not get bored. If you do some experiment or try to share to the world, you will get some appreciation also. That will give you some moral to get more,
Yeah.
even more on that part. So that's what it is.
Great. Sandip, that's a beautiful tip. And the story behind that blog post, that's really inspiring. I think people now, whoever, had thought of writing blog will definitely go ahead and start their own
Yeah.
blog.
So one problem people see, that what people will say.
Yeah.
That, I mean, when I also started, I thought what people will say.
Yeah.
But who will think bad, they will think bad about you. Who are like, are a learning person or positive person, they will simply either like it or give you some feedback.
Yeah.
Now it's your choice. Listen to feedback. If it's a good one, if it's a bad one, block the person and forget about him. If it's a good feedback, keep in touch with the person. I have many persons. They criticize me in a positive way, and
Mm,
I add in my groups. I get the number and I talk. What is the problem? Let's find
mm,
out.
mm,
And I take their feedback and improve it. And they later come back to me with some projects.
mm.
See, that's how it is. People
Wow.
who are criticizing me are now coming and giving projects and recommending me to other people.
Nice.
So you need a skill. That's a very unique skill, make negative thing come into positive.
Mm,
So when you have that skill, you're unstoppable. That I feel from my personal experience. You have to think how you can even make the negative situation positive, that will work for you. That's
yeah.
one very good skill to achieve.
Nice. That's a life lesson there, Sandip. Turning negative
Yeah,
vibes into positive is
yeah.
not easy, but yeah, good job. Thank you. Now, one last question. You've taught a lot of people. You're in the training industry for a while now.
Right.
There might be some memorable stories or students that you would, always cherish. Can you share such
Yeah.
moments?
So one when I started, I was doing a session. I was doing a live session only one person is watching, only one person at that
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Then his name was Piyush, okay, and he's in Hyderabad. I mean, I'm talking about some 2 years back, okay.
Okay.
And he said, Dada, your video was very good, it's very
Hmm.
informative, and I'm telling you, people will give money to watch your sessions.
Hmm.
I never expected that. I'm just getting started and all, right? So two
Okay.
years back at that time, I didn't even, I think only had 10 or 20 subscribers.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, nobody
Yeah.
know me in the YouTube. In the LinkedIn,
Okay.
maybe some know, but nobody know me in the YouTube.
Okay.
So that person actually, after I see the growth and all, I go to Hyderabad from some office projects,
Okay.
and that time I meet with that person. We had some beautiful lunch. We share your experience, and the moment you meet with some person in person, they are giving you good feedbacks, good
Yeah.
vibes. You take whatever there's. I'm just ask him that what is your pain point,
Hmm.
what do you want to learn,
Yeah.
and he give me all the information. I make tutorial on the same topics, and it
Okay.
become big hit.
Wow.
So that's what it is. Now that same person is like what he told, that people will pay you for joining a session. That happening all over
Yeah.
the time. So
Yeah.
big corporates are paying me good money for the session. I have developed my inside
Yeah.
payment, like paid consulting service. People actually $100, $200 just for 1 hour session. So that
Yeah.
is what happening. I never thought of it, but it's getting true. And the same person Piyush actually become my YouTube member just last night.
Oh. Okay.
So see, that's how everything evolve. You have to listen people, listen to their needs. Your student specifically, like he was my student, right? He just getting
Yeah.
started with my contents and all.
Yeah.
Nobody was watching.
Yeah.
Now it's getting traction different, but that time his feedback was valuable.
Yeah.
So that is what takes. So his words are getting true, and it's like a wow. This what you I'm that time. It give me a vibe. What I'm doing is really great, and
Yeah.
it's helping out a lot of people. I should continue, and
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
continue.
Great job. But that's a nice story. I think we all start with the dream that at least one person should get use of it, and that's how
Exactly.
our journey begins. That's a
So my
nice
actually
story.
one part here, I what I thought starting up, that even one person if watch my content and think it's helpful for them, my content is successful.
Yeah.
It hasn't have to be 1 million or 2 million people watching my content.
Yeah.
I never thought of that. I not even think about at the moment also. Okay,
Yeah.
if one person watching the tutorial is helpful for their career, their knowledge is helping in their interview, I think that's my success.
Awesome.
That's my point.
Awesome. Sandip, really, I am telling this from my heart. The amount of content that you deliver for free, it's a huge value in the outside market, because people now using DevOps as a big market for
Yeah.
teaching, even though, so
one of
really
the
a kudos. Yeah.
one of the reason I started learning, I had to pay around 40,000 rupees
Wow.
to, I'm not telling the name of the learning portal,
Mhm.
and I found that first good content but very hard to learn. I have to watch four
Mm.
times then I learn something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought it's very costly. I have good job, I have good salary level, just
Yeah.
fine, but there are people who have no knowledge, who have no money for to pay for this kind of courses. So whenever I start around, when I'm thinking about 4 year back,
Yeah.
at that time I thought if I learn all that, I master all this, when
Mm.
I start making it, I will study for either free or very less cost, at
Mm.
like pay for like to your traveling cost, that kind of cost.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing. So that was my goal as well.
Great, great, Sandip. People who are listening to this podcast, please go ahead and check learn.sandipdas.in, and everything is free in that site. There's a lot of amount of information for free, and if you learn that, you can definitely become a DevOps engineer, and more than just a DevOps engineer. So, thank you, Sandip, for the beautiful session today on a Sunday morning. Thank you so much.
No problem. It was like honor, and I always I you don't know, but I was watching your session from long time when you started.
Great, great.
So see, you started some really cool content sharing and knowledge, and you started. That's why I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
So what I request to people, start. No matter what the point, no matter what resources you have, start.
Start.
Then continue doing that, and that's will be your path to success.
Great. Thank you, Sandip. We are
Sure.
looking forward for you to become a huge
No,
success in future, and your
thank you,
YouTube base should grow, and wish you all the best.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandip. Take care. IT Hero Podcast Show.